This is nScreenNoise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at nScreen Media, and today is July 11th, 2014. The movie industry continues to wrestle with plummeting DVD sales. Sales were down 13% last year, and that's on the heels of several losing previous years. Digital sales are not increasing fast enough to compensate for these losses. Although there was a 50% rise in sales last year, they still only represent $1 billion of the $8 billion industry. So it's still very much oriented towards the disc sales. Now, one of the reasons that digital sales isn't picking up fast enough is because when you buy a digital copy, you do not get all of the bonus features that you get on the disc. So in order to fix that problem, many of the movie studios now have gotten together and reached agreement with Apple to deliver iTunes extras, which already existed to devices like the iMac, but they've gotten together to allow that to be delivered to the Apple TV, thereby bringing these features to the television, which is, of course, where most consumers want them to be. Now, the great thing about this feature is that the studios can dynamically update a lot of the bonus content, so they can give you newer trailers when you're watching an older movie. They can give you newer interviews, for example. So it's a pretty good deal and does help recreate this disc environment actually in the digital sale. Now, this is not the only place you can get it. For example, with Vudu, if you buy District 9 from Vudu, you also get bonus features, which is a much more disc-like environment and experience. But unfortunately, of course, Vudu and iTunes are completely incompatible. So buying the discs, buying the digital versions on the store locks you to that store once again. And this is not the way you go about fixing the problem of replacing disc sales with digital sales if you're really serious about it. You really need to have a standard way of doing this so that a consumer has the assurance that they can play that asset anywhere on any device that they want to, rather than being locked to a specific ecosystem. Now, the industry's response generally to digital sales has been ultraviolet, and ultraviolet actually does include support for the concept of bundles like this. Unfortunately, nobody seems to be using it. So I think it's time for the industry to get really serious about supporting a full copy of a disc online with all of the bonus features in a standard way, so that every vendor that sells a copy of that movie can provide that experience. There's no way that this going vendor by vendor really scales and doesn't give the consumer the assurances that they need that it's not locked to a specific vendor. Now, the World Cup continues to break online records. News this week from Akamai that the Netherlands-Argentinian game, which took place yesterday, the second semi-final, courtesy of the penalties, generated 6.9 terabits per second. Now, this beat the previous peak, which was set during the simultaneous games of USA and Germany and Ghana and Portugal at 6.8 terabits per second. So that's a pretty big total there, and the games have shown consistent growth as we have gone through them. Now, there is evidence here that actually North America is beginning to embrace soccer, because the highest generating traffic area has been North America. North America generated 4.3 terabits peak during group play, whereas Europe only generated 3.1 terabits. So we certainly seem to be catching on to soccer here in North America. And these are not only the streaming games, they are the social World Cup games, because social media has also been setting big peaks. Twitter reports that the Brazilian humiliation at the hands of Germany earlier this week generated 33.6 million tweets during the match, and this beat out the previous record during the Super Bowl 2014 of 24.9 million and the Super Bowl 2013 of 24.1 million. Facebook also wants to get in on the action. It said that 66 million people have engaged in 200 million interactions, that is posts, likes and comments during the games. And Brazilians are featured pretty highly here too. 16 million of them have been involved, generating 52 million rather interactions during the games. So this is a big growth for sports online and a big growth over previous games. For example, the 300 million tweets that were generated in the first 15 days of the World Cup is double the number of tweets that were generated during the 2012 Olympics. Big growth there, and we expect to see sports events continue to grow over the coming months and years. And when they do, you'll hear about it first here on nScreenNoise. We'll see you again next time.